Hello and welcome, everybody. We are back at the Beer Ladies podcast hub during lockdown, recording once again. We're on episode number 9, which is actually hard to believe. We've been at this for just about 3 months or so, which is great. And today we have absolutely no agenda, which is really, really exciting. I'm your host, Thandi, and today we have got Christina, Bean, and Sarah, who I'm sure will all say hi in their various ways.
Hello.
Go Bean. I love it when Bean just pops a hello. And Christina and Sarah. Christina, you first. How you doing?
I'm good.
Awesome. Nice to have you back. And especially you're not on a history one, which is cool.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself.
I think you've got a few surprises in store for us anyway. Sarah, when was the last one you did? You did last week's Thanksgiving episode, right?
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
So you've got all the sort of occasions at the moment. Thanksgiving, December, holidays, coziness. You've got it all wrapped up. That's brilliant. Okay, so as we said, no agenda today. We're literally just going to hang out. But we are definitely going to go around the room and do what are you drinking? So, Bean, how about we start with you?
Ooh. We found a two sides collaboration between 57 the Headline and the Brickyard Gastropub. So it's a limited edition barrel-aged milk stout aged in cognac French oak barrels. How exciting is that? And it actually does taste kind of port-like or smell port-like. I don't know.
Show us that can for the guys watching.
I will indeed.
Oh, two sides. Okay, move back a little bit.
So it's a Dutch brew
two sides
collab.
And dot. What's it called? Over a barrel, yeah?
Over a barrel.
That's cool. What is that art on the can? Is it like paint?
I think it's like, I don't know. It has like a mountainy feel, but like a scratched out. Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of random, modern. Something to go with the lactose and the oats.
What's the ABV on that one, Bean?
Oh, it's 8.2.
Woohoo! Big boy.
So it's fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, but shout out to Brickyard and Headline.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, nice and sweet smelling, and got that like kind of port smell. It's mostly fun to smell. It's definitely fun to drink, but it's fun to smell because the cognac barrel thing. Yeah, so I feel very fancy.
That's awesome. Sarah, what have you got tonight?
Oh, nothing that fancy. It is I should be able to pronounce this for having lived in Germany and spoken German at one point in my life, but my pronunciation is bad. Bayreuther.
Oh,
Hell.
okay.
It's a Helles lager. Yeah, that's embarrassing. I should know how to pronounce that. It's just 4.9%. It's light. Just want something really light, nice and light, nothing too heavy on the stomach tonight for me. So it smells like this would be really good for summer. So, or in a beer garden.
Yeah.
Helles, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Very summery beer. I know this is the December, but
there are no rules. It's 2020.
No rules.
Yeah, this is December casual.
Like,
We're just having the chats and keeping you company while you go wassailing among the leaves of green and hanging up your laundry so fair to be seen.
Christina, friend, what have you got tonight?
Right, I'm drinking a Heaney Brewery. It's a collaboration with Boundary Brewing. I Can See Stars, Russian Imp Stout.
Ooh. You're also on a big boy tonight. Russian Imperial.
So I could have been sensible and picked like a low ABV one because it's school night and all that stuff, but I was like, 11%, let's go for that. That seems
oh my god,
that seems like a good school night beer. So if by the end of the episode I've completely descended into chaos, you know why.
Beer ladies, regulars, it's all good.
It's a cozy evening inside.
Oh, isn't it fast? It's wonderful. So I've got kind of non-seasonal as well, bit seasonal, bit non-seasonal. But I have picked a theme for tonight, which will soon emerge. I've got a curious orange. It's a saison beer, saison with sweet orange peel and thyme. It's from Dungarvan. So, Christina, I know you visited the brewery recently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was in Black Rock Cellar today for the first time in a long time. I've been ordering a lot online, but today I made my way into a physical store. And oh my gosh, I was just in heaven because the place is stocked to the rafters, and everywhere I looked, there were just new and interesting things to try. I had to really, restrain myself and control control my urges to buy everything. I still walked away having spent far too much money, but it's okay. So yes, I'm trying this one. It is also limited edition special brew from Dungarvan, and they're down in Waterford, and it's a saison, and I love saisons. So that's what I'm up to tonight.
That sounds lovely. I love saisons too.
It's quite the color. It's
Yeah.
hazy and orangey
It
looking.
is. It's kind of goldy, and it's got a bit of haze. It's not
It looks
milk thick,
lovely.
but it's lovely. And when I poured it, it had a very frothy, kind of foamy head, which is so nice in a saison. And it's staying, which is impressive. And it is bottle conditioned, which is always nice. I mean, I think you want that in a saison, but it is lovely to see it. You don't always see them with brewers these days. Oh shit! I'm overflowing. Oh God!
The evening begins.
I keep pouring in like parts because I don't want to overflow, and then what I actually do is agitate everything and overflow it anyway.
We're gonna start off how we mean to go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Sarah, you mentioned that you also love saisons. So I have this theory, okay? I have a theory that I want to run by you guys, and tell me if I could be completely wrong. My theory is that people who don't think that they like beer, maybe because they think they like wine or they like gin or something else, there's often like a style that really fits what they already like. And for me, saison is one of those styles that really fits wine drinkers. And if you find a person who's in particular kind of like a white wine fan, but doesn't think that beer is for them, my theory is that saison is the right match for that. And if they're a gin fan, IPAs or pale ales are the right style for that. And if they're kind of more into sweeter things, then maybe like a stout or a porter or something. What do you guys think of that? Like, is there a match for beer styles with other drinks that are the more natural kind of gateway beer or style, as opposed to everybody just starting with a lager?
There should be. Everybody has to fit into that box now because that makes sense to me. So if you weren't
So
in that
Bean has
box,
deemed it.
jump in.
I don't. I think that's right. I don't know if it matches exactly with the style. It depends on the person. But I find people who don't call themselves beer drinkers, they don't like it when they try a sour. That's when they are on the craft beer bandwagon. That's when they decide, actually, this doesn't taste like beer at all. Why is this so good? My taste buds confuse me. That's what I find in my
Yes.
experience. Is a sour is the gateway drug.
And actually, you're right, because sours really are a gateway drug for a lot of people, and women especially. People always market to women the sort of pink, sweet things, when actually, what is often the better gateway is sours and saisons.
And stouts.
And stouts, yeah. But
Those are
Can
to
confirm.
me those are the conversion drinks. Stouts and sours, in particular. Stouts because if you like coffee, it's a really good gateway. It's a really good gateway pint. And then sours, of course, because this is a beer. This is a beer. What is this? So I would completely agree with that. Those are sort of when we have beer ladies meetings and we have members who have come and said, okay, listen, I don't even like beer. It's just, it seems like this is the thing. Like, why should I enjoy this? Can you direct me to something I might like? Then, it's a quick rundown of, okay, what do you like to eat? Do you drink coffee? And these kind of things. And then we'll just go through, and typically, you give them a nice, well-made stout, nothing too overwhelming. Like, I'm not going to give them a Russian MP stout, like, to start with. But something like that, just a nice coffee, lots of coffee, dark chocolate notes in a stout. Oh, this is quite nice. And then exactly like Sarah said with a sour, whoa, what is this? This is delicious.
Yeah.
This is beer.
Yeah.
I also think it's generational. I know, having given the craft beer to my mom or some aunts or older relatives whose idea of beer is very 70s based, 80s based, when it's like, you have a couple cans of Budweiser or Coors Light at the baseball field, doing like softball teams or whatever. They have those coolers. You know what I'm thinking about, right? And it's just crappy. Not that it's crappy, but it is crappier beer, and they just associate beer with that kind of flavor, and that's it across the board. And trying to get them to just taste this, you might like it, and then to see their eyes go wide and they're like, that's beer? That doesn't taste like beer at all.
Yeah.
So,
I have a friend whose mom is totally the kind of mom that she'll come over to visit her daughter. She could just leave her with a glass of wine and a stack of books. But then when she brings her out for a drink, it's sours all the way. And I love it.
Nice.
And actually, speaking of saisons,
Woohoo.
I do have my little bottle conditioned, and they even had this wax dip on the top of the bottle. It's an Otter
Fancy.
Bank So It Begins. And they aged it in Pinot Noir and Chardonnay barrels.
that sounds
And
lovely.
Yum.
Oh man.
I opened it. Now, you were encouraged to either save this for years if you wanted, or to open it soon. And I was just too curious. And I think if you like champagne, you can do that. And that's how it came across to me. I was like, this is champagne beer. It's very cool.
It's the champagne of beers. Isn't that the tagline for?
It's and
Color?
the top is dipped in wax. It's really fun.
I know. Can I just say, by the way, I find it actually really annoying to find beer bottles dipped in wax because they're a pain in the butt to open. Like,
It was absolutely a pain in the butt to open.
Yeah. It's like
stop doing it, guys.
And it looks
hate it.
fancy. It
But
looks
it's so pretty. I like
And it takes
fancy.
forever to get through it.
but it does look nice. It is fancy.
It does look good. Although I must say, like there was a brewery in South Africa, and they were running out of cold storage, so they only had quite a small brewery and whatnot. They were running out of cold storage, and they had this Belgian triple that they'd brewed. So they decided that they were going to condition it under the sea, like in the water under the sea.
Whoa.
Which
a
was
good
really
idea.
cool. Yeah, it was actually really cool because it is completely consistent in terms of the temperature.
What about pressure?
Yeah, so they actually worked it out. They tested it so that it wasn't going to be too far down to have too much pressure, but the pressure also helps with carbonation, I'd imagine. I mean, I could be completely wrong again, but look, it was a bottle conditioned beer anyway, so it wasn't going to need pressure to help it, but I can't imagine it hurt. And what was really cool was because they also had to dip it in wax so that it was like really, really sealed. But each bottle that you got, it was a 750 ml. So it was quite a special kind of limited edition release thing. It came with barnacles from wherever it lay.
That is so cool.
So fun.
That is really cool.
So fun. It was the same brewery, they're called Drifter, and they brewed a saltwater goza during the water crisis a couple of years ago, which was a really good idea.
So smart. And
Not only salt water in their brew, because obviously it's too salty, but they used a portion of salt water, which was very clever, very good for them. Yeah. But I did like the fact that it felt really special because you really did get kind of a feel for where it lay, and that wax was kind of worth taking off, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be worth taking off the wax after you'd saved it for a little while. Because I think this would just improve, like would just become even more interesting. And
I'm interested if I had to go and pick up some of those saisons, if I could find the self-discipline to have one now and then save one for later, or what,
Thandi, what you have to do is you have to put it in a quote very important place, and then you'll forget about it and you'll lose it because you put it in the important place, and then you'll find it 3 years later and it'll be perfect. I mean, that's what I always do. I put it in an important place and then it's gone.
Yeah,
Keep
that
to be
happened to me
right.
with some caramel pastry stout, the old school original one from White Hag. Found a few of those in the corner. Like, oh yay,
Man.
that's good.
I do that too. I bury things in the back and I'm like, oh, wow, look at this from 3 years ago. Good thing, you can't get sick from drinking old beer. I'm going to drink this now.
Well, it depends on how old it is.
Well, I mean, beer doesn't, it's not a good, it's not a good environment for anything that'll harm you. I mean, it's not going to taste
No.
particularly well.
Not
but
on
it's gonna hurt
not
you.
on your usual historical scale
That's-
of old things.
No.
Oh.
It wasn't like in a ship for a long time.
Yeah,
at the
like
bottom of the sea.
I'm not trying to drink. I'm not, how people like find those like things of wine and it's like, 1,000 years old. I'm not trying to drink that.
Yeah, that beer wasn't in an amphora for centuries.
No, but I will drink the ones that are in the back of my cabinet.
Fair.
I don't think I don't have any beer laying around that I've hidden and forgotten about, but every time I look over at our little bar cart, it's a little IKEA bar cart, I keep thinking, when did I buy club soda? It's not club soda, it's Pachin. Siphoned in. I'm like, I keep forgetting we have this. It's not for me. It's for Lisa, actually. I think she mentioned it on a podcast, and I keep forgetting to get it to her. But it's like, I didn't know I had that. But it's Pachin that we picked up from my in-laws the last time we visited, and I think it's at least 10 years old. It's aged Pachin. We don't know what it tastes like. I refuse to taste it.
Just taste it, Sarah.
No, I don't want to die.
It's not going to hurt you.
I don't want to. I've smelled it. That's enough. Like,
What does it smell of?
regret. Bad decisions. That's what it smells like. Mistakes.
It's great.
Leprechaun
I really want to
tears.
try this now, honestly.
Oh, God.
I've never had poutine before. I know.
It'll
well,
put hair
I
on your
know.
chest.
Yeah.
If it doesn't kill you.
Yeah.
It might. There's no guarantee.
For people who aren't in Ireland, does someone want to explain what poachine is?
I don't know how to describe it other than Irish moonshine.
Yeah, that's a pretty
That's
good
about it.
description.
Or
Yeah.
moonshine is Irish, or moonshine is American poachine.
It's
Yeah.
It's the same concept. But usually you can buy like you can go into a liquor store and in the US and buy moonshine over like in a liquor store, but that's not the legitimate stuff. The legit stuff is the stuff that somebody's distilled in a shack and you may actually go blind from it. And you always find it like the real stuff is always in another bottle of something. It's never it's not what's on the label.
Yeah.
So
I think every country's got their version of poutine or moonshine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like South
Yeah.
Africa's got mampur, and it's made from fruits, and it's also just a bit of a homebrewed spirit. It's become a big enough market, so it's not just home done anymore. The same with sort of moonshine in the States. Like you get commercial examples,
Yeah,
and those
that's
ones
the
are
word.
much nicer. But yes, typically people would take fruit and just make whatever strong ass booze they could with it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can get poaching now, official like
Yeah.
Can you?
distilled poaching now. Yeah, it's the thing
Really?
now. Yeah, you can get actually like commercial poaching.
What is
Yeah.
the base ingredient normally?
Potato?
Is it potato?
I don't
Don't
know.
think so. Okay, it says the old style of poaching distilling was from a malted barley base for the mash, the same as single malt whiskey. So originally we're talking about malted barley base. In more recent times, some distillers deviated from using malted barley as a base of the mash due to the cost and availability, switching to using treacle corn and potatoes.
Potatoes.
So like
Potato recipe.
old school poaching is malted barley based, and new school is whatever they feel like making it from.
Mm. There's a raisin brown sugar recipe with potatoes and wheat.
Okay, should we do
What?
that? Come on, Bean. Let's make some poutine one day.
Oh, and Sarah,
Okay.
it says here not to worry about the blindness. That's usually due to adulteration and not from lack of quality. So it's not from the actual poutine itself. It's due to people putting other things in it and messing around with it.
Mm. Don't cut your good drugs. I say definitely, like I know what I'm talking about.
She does.
Oh, shit.
You don't survive this long without knowing to not adulterate your good drugs. But yes to brew day.
And everyone's got a family or friend or somebody who's making poutine somewhere.
Yeah, I mean that's where ours came from.
Yeah.
We have like a plum poutine as well, which
Ooh.
maybe I'll taste that one. But
That sounds really nice. When
Plum
I was
anything.
when I was in university, undergraduate in West Virginia, I think you probably know where this is going. People made moonshine and all different kinds of moonshine, watermelon moonshine, raspberry moonshine, strawberry moonshine, and it was delicious, like really, really good. But you're talking about people whose, mother made it, grandmother made it, great grandmother, like it's a tradition, so they're very good at it.
Yeah, and it's been passed down. So the knowledge, because you know what now happened during lockdown in South Africa was that all the booze was banned, and everybody then decided that they were going to become a home brewer. And it was actually kind of dangerous to an extent because people weren't trying to always brew moonshines or beers or, tapache or anything that's kind of low ABV. A few people were trying to go for spirits, like hard stuff, and a few people died because it's not something that it doesn't matter how much you Google it. You actually have to kind of know a few things, and you really don't want to mess around with that sort of thing. So,
yeah.
I'd say if you've never really done it, the time to start is not when you're deprived of your alcoholic drinks.
No,
No.
no, it's something definitely to be careful of.
Wow, moment of sadness. Wow, safety first. What's the worst that could happen?
On that note, since we're talking about traditions and things that have been passed down, does anyone want to talk about like Christmas traditions in their family since we're in December and it's holidays and yay?
Who's feeling Christmas vibes yet?
Not me.
Not you?
I
Nope.
am actually. I'm ready for it. Like I
Yeah.
think for me, it's just because 2020 has been an absolute dumpster fire. And so like anything that makes me happy or like can distract me, I'm here for. So like I've got Tandy's like Christmas pints shirt on.
Yay.
I mean, I'm sweatshirt on, and if you're just listening to this, it's one of Craft Geek Tandy's designs, and it's got like snow on the top and all different beer glasses with like reindeer horns and a Santa hat and a little snowman. It's really cute.
Yeah, it's pretty and it's festive.
It's so cool.
It is.
So I'm just ready for the holidays. I'm just
Mm.
full in,
Oh.
sign me up, ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
I will get there. I will be there very soon. Sorry.
Yeah. Bean, how about you? How are you feeling? Are you ready for Christmas yet? For the holidays at least? Whichever.
Yes and no. I tried to go and get things in the mail for Christmas a bit earlier. I was like, 90% of the way there. We're a pretty bah humbug kind of crew.
Oh, yeah.
A bit over Christmas in my youth.
Ah.
A very good mom. So yeah, now I'm happy to not put up a tree and not bother with cleaning up
Really?
tinsel. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
so how do
happy
you
out,
spend
actually.
it? What is like your sort of typical Christmas? What does it look like?
Oh, well, depends. If I were home, then I would be happy enough making the turkey and doing all the things. And if I'm not home, then a bag of crisps that is meant to taste like roast turkey is just fine. I think we might try and get a bit of hammer turkey or something this year. Couple of craisins.
Craisins.
What is a craisin?
It's
Just a cranberry.
it's like a cranberry, but like it's dehydrated. It's like they're called craisins.
dried
Those are
candied
cranberry raisins.
cranberry.
Raisins.
It's a much better name than just dried cranberries, which is what I know them as. Craisin sounds much
Well,
much fancier.
See,
They're delicious.
that's because I'm fancy. I know the brand names of dried cranberries if it's, Ocean Spray or Ocean Spray competitor. Yeah, look at. I mean, I used to go ice skating with my brother because he used to play hockey, and I'd take him down to the rink, or we'd go do the whole sledding down the hill thing as kids, or have way too many presents. And
Sounds
yeah,
delightful.
that's nice. Just really hanging out and being cozy. I've got my Christmas oranges though.
Your Christmas
I
oranges.
do remember, so you'd get sort of the box of those kind of easy peeler little clementines, and they're mandarin oranges in the papers, and they used to come in these green papers, and it was kind of a little hunt. You'd hide and go seek for which papers still had oranges in them.
Oh, that's adorable.
But yeah, I think that just about does it for me, really. We like to kind of bah humbug and hang out and not do too much that's special, but sort of like the old ritual that you were talking about in another podcast. There's like little everyday things that are still important. And so just putting a sprig of holly on that, whatever your little mini traditions are that are daily, just, put a little bit of tinsel on that and call it Christmas, and it makes it feel a bit special.
That's cool.
You don't have to do that much, really.
So, Sarah, in a normal year, not a 2020 year, how would you normally be spending Christmas?
It's funny that you say that because I've been talking about that with my husband lately. And for us, this year is basically going to be like every other year. We've always spent Christmas just the two of us. Since we got married, it was important to both of us to create our own Christmas traditions, and we've done a really good job of that because it's too much of a hassle in any year to travel back to the United States to be with my family. We did it once and it was really fun, but it was exhausting. And with the weather, you never know what's going to happen. I get too stressed out and anxious to travel at that time of year, and I don't want to get sick and all these things. And we wouldn't go back to his parents' place because of days off and public transport. It's just a pain in the butt. So we stay home. And so it's not going to be any different for us this year, which is, maybe we're luckier than other people that do have to sacrifice seeing their families. We always spend it together. Christmas Eve, Christina would know, she's kind of part of our Christmas Eve tradition as well sometimes, if we can work it out, which is a pub crawl on Christmas Eve. We go for a couple pints in the Christmasiest of pubs in Dublin. And then we get home, we have some snacks, we watch Die Hard. If we're still awake, I'll throw Lethal Weapon on, even though that's really depressing in the beginning. It is a Christmas movie.
Yes.
But yeah, and then the next day we'd go for a Christmas morning walk. We'd cook dinner and just kind of lounge about, eat, watch Christmas movies, call my folks, call his folks. I mean, it's going to be the same this year.
Is there like a specific meal that you'd prepare for Christmas Day or Christmas Eve? I mean, Christmas Eve, you normally pub hopping, I guess. Christmas Day then.
Christmas Eve, I'd do like sausage rolls. The nice sausage rolls and the puff pastry. Throw those in the oven. Christmas Eve is all about put it in the oven. I don't have to think about it. Set the timer.
Okay.
Because you've had a couple of pints.
Yeah.
And then Christmas Day, I like ham, mashed potatoes. It's not too much different than Thanksgiving. I just add more, and I do a lot of cookies. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't like the Christmas pudding thing that people light on fire. I don't like those kind of desserts. I just want cookies. So I make a bunch.
That sounds yum. I love that. Yeah, cookies sound like a good part of Christmas to me.
Yeah.
Christina, tell us about your typical Christmas and how you might spend it.
Similar to Sarah, so mine's not really going to change that much because Paul and I which is my husband, we just kind of do our own thing, because of course my parents are in the States, and we get together with his family on Stephen's Day, but Christmas Eve and Christmas Day
Which
are
is
our
Boxing Day to those guys in the UK and other parts of the world.
yeah.
And then
So
for the United States, it's just the day after Christmas.
it's just the day after Christmas.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
It's nothing.
It's nothing.
Oh.
So we do Christmas Eve and we like to go out for pints. That's usually we meet up with Sarah and Seamus, and it's just so nice because it's like the one day that Dublin is it's just dubs, like it's just locals, and it's just lovely. Because there's just such a sense of camaraderie. It's just such a warm, loving environment. Like if you're a dub in Dublin, you know yourself. Like going out for pints on Christmas Eve, it's just amazing. Like it's just the very best thing. And then Christmas Eve. So this is tradition in my family, and this has been passed down for generations. So we light bayberry candles on Christmas Eve in the sink.
Cool.
Bayberry candles, and you light them. We put them in the sink, and they burn overnight. Or until we blow them out. But you're supposed to let them burn down the entire way overnight, for good luck. So this has been a tradition in my family for forever. And I'm holding 2 bayberry candles, and they're just like boring, like greenish color, nothing special to look at.
Yeah.
But they smell amazing. Like they smell really good, and they make the whole house smell. And this is just a tradition for luck. And so we light and we burn those every Christmas Eve. And then Christmas Day is we start drinking. Like we wake up in the morning, we get a bottle of Prosecco, we make mimosas, we do presents, and then I just start cooking because I make ham and turkey on Christmas. It's a whole big turkey and it's just me and Paul, but then we can eat it for the whole week. So then I don't have to cook for the rest of the week, which is lovely. So turkey, ham. I make hash brown casserole, green bean casserole.
Oh yes, I love green bean casserole.
It's the best.
Yeah, you'll have to send me a recipe, please.
I will. Sweet potato casserole. Yes, with marshmallows, lads.
Yum.
Like it has to have the marshmallows. And what else do I make? Okay, 2 kinds of stuffing because I like very boring stuffing, and my husband likes like sausage stuffing. I can't stand it, but my husband likes it, so we make that. And then with Sarah, so the week before Christmas I start making cookies, and I make as many different kind of cookies as I possibly can, because that's tradition in my family as well. Like having big cookie spreads was the thing. So snickerdoodles, chocolate chip cookies, oatmeal raisin cookies,
peanut butter kisses, the peanut butter ones where you put the little chocolate star in there, they are like crack, I'm telling.
Don't ever give me the recipe for those, thanks.
They're so good. Buckeyes, it's like peanut butter fudge with like chocolate wrapped around it. All kinds of cookies, just any kind of cookie you can possibly imagine, just these huge trays of them, as well as like poppy seed roll, which is like this roll. It's a Polish dish, and then inside is like sweetened poppy seed. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning, and my grandmother would make that from scratch. And so, just every year, just so many different kinds of cakes and cookies, and so good.
Does it not stress you out to like have all these kind of things to do or things that you want to cook? I mean, is it a thing that relaxes you and makes you feel like it's Christmas, or is it a thing that you're like, oh, I must make it, like?
I would say both.
Okay.
I would say it can stress you out if you let it stress you out, especially as, I mean, not for every family, but mine, leading up, it's my mom doing a lot of the baking of the cookies, and I would help. And by help, I mean lick the bowl. It has to get clean somehow, people.
Seems legit.
But then, you throw on some Christmas movies in the background, and it really becomes meditative in a process, especially recipes that you've done over and over and over again, and you just you set the timer and it comes out of the oven and you let it cool down. It's just meditative. I really enjoy doing it when you put Christmas music on or a Christmas movie, and then it doesn't become so much of a laborious task. That's how I view it.
Yeah, I would agree. Like to me, it's just tradition and it makes me feel like it's actually Christmas. Like if I didn't do it, I wouldn't feel like Christmas. Like Christmas is making cookies and then you have some awful Hallmark movie on in the background. You have your glass of beer or mulled wine or whatever. And it is because I have these cooking recipes memorized. So like, you know, you make them and then it's just put them on two, you know, cookie sheets, put them in the oven, take them out, cool them off, stick them on the thing, repeat, repeat, repeat. It's not that much thinking.
Yeah. I think the stressful part is more making sure you have all the ingredients and you're ready to go.
Yeah, the planning.
That's the stressful part.
Yeah, once you have all that and you're actually like, because like I'd knock it out in one day. So like there's not a lot of dishes because what I do is I make one batch of cookies, they're cooling, just rinse out the bowl and make the new batch instead of having to like get all the process in and out again. I mean, it's just for Paul and I, like I'm not that fussy if a bit of my raisin cookie has some chocolate chip cookie in it. Like that's just not, you know, whatever. I just keep going. We just keep going, you know, we cook them all. So, you know, it's oatmeal raisin cookies, chocolate chip cookies, sugar cookies, and snickerdoodles. And those are the 4 that I make every year. And it's just boom, 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 boom.
Or noble cookies.
Amazing.
Thandi, what's the story with the wine, the mulled wine? What's the mulled wine situation at your house at Christmas?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Christmas has changed a lot since I've moved here. So I've only been here for 2 years. This will be my 3rd Christmas here. The first year it was just myself and my immediate family, so me, Ash and Rogan, and it was the first time ever that we were alone on Christmas, so that was kind of weird. Although my dad had come to visit and had just left like 2 days before. I think he couldn't stay over, but anyway, that was fine. Now, it coming from a southern hemisphere country into a northern hemisphere country, it started to feel, I think, like you see in the movies. Christmas is always portrayed in a very specific way, like cold, cozy, cookies, turkey, you know. And I mean Americanized movies now, not everywhere else. And then things like mulled wine and whatnot. Now, I never liked mulled wine until I came here because suddenly it made sense in the environment, and it just never made sense in South Africa. Certainly not over Christmas because it would be boiling hot. It's like 30 degrees, and the way that we'd spend Christmas typically, in my family, Christmas Eve was the big one. So we'd have a big old like kind of family dinner. Generally, because I've got quite a big family, we'd all bring something. So all bring a dish. There might be 2 or 3 desserts, 3 or 4 mains, and 3 or 4 starters and sides and salads and things. So it would be like a massive spread. But that would be like the big one. Christmas morning was typically more nuclear. So we'd have presents. There's always, Father Christmas or Santa Claus or Santa or whatever you want to call him, generally coming around. And it would be kind of chilled. So, we'd have a nice breakfast, like, I don't know, eggs and bacon and lovely things. And then in South Africa on Christmas Day, I would normally spend the rest of the day in the pool, literally just swimming on a lilo, like wine or beer, often reading a book, because maybe I would have gotten a book for Christmas or something, just like Christmas Day for me is the day of leftovers and the day of being in the pool. That's obviously quite a privileged stance on it in terms of the world. But now here it's completely different. So now I've learned to embrace kind of the cold. Although Ireland is not cold, it's just dark and damp. It's not cold. It's not snowy. So sometimes I wish it would be. Actually, I'd love to go ice skating again and skiing. I'd love all of those things. But I've now got like mulled wine. So I've formulated my recipe over the last 2 years, and I'm still going to get better at it. And also, there's never going to be a recipe because it's just going to be, it's like a master stock. I get my slow cooker on, and actually I just top it up as we go. So, make some, top it up, add some more ingredients, remove the old ones, top it up, just keep going. And honestly, mulled wine could just keep me sustained for years during Christmas. It's so nice. This year will definitely be just the 3 of us, and we will try our best to make it as kind of festive as possible. But I played a game. I played a game with Rogan the other day, and I said, "What would make Christmas shit? Like, what would be the worst Christmas ever?" And if you figure out what the bad side is, you can kind of go opposite. Because typically, really, I would be with family. Last year, my mom was here, my sister was here. This year, it'll be us again. So anyway, he just sort of said, what would be really shit is if we were only on like calls all day long, So we're going to try and limit the calls and the screen time in that sense. What would really be shit is like bad food or having to eat Brussels sprouts. Cool, we won't do that, So we'll probably have something very untraditional. I don't know what we'll do for Christmas Eve this year. I haven't been in the mood, and we don't ever really do things like ham or turkey. I hate turkey; it's gross, and I don't love ham. I know it's like really, it's very anti Northern Hemisphere.
You could have a goose or a duck.
Maybe.
Or you could have a roast chicken. Like, there's no rules.
Yeah, there's no rules. I actually might just make like a seafood paella or something because, at this point, screw 20.
That sounds good.
Yeah, 2020, no rules. We might just do a cheese platter. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Either which way. I also like what you guys do in terms of cooking. I do a lot of cooking leading up and not as much baking, but I do. But a lot of cooking so that there are leftovers because come Christmas Day, for me, that's the day that I don't cook at all. Like it's leftover day, and that's here or back in the Southern Hemisphere. So we'll see what I concoct. Oh, and by the way, I only watched Die Hard 2 years ago for the first time.
What?
I know.
Please don't tell me you're one of those freaks who thinks that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie because if you are one of them, you can get out.
No. It's definitely a Christmas movie. And 2 years ago, when we spent our first Christmas together, just kind of alone, it was the way that Ash and I kind of did Christmas Day, like the evening. We were like, right, now what are we doing? Christmas movies. Great. So actually, I think that's now become part of the new traditions is Christmas movies on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, depending on the time of day, obviously. And actually, we already started last week. We watched Home Alone. So there we go.
I love Home Alone.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Home Alone.
Yeah.
That's my dad's, my dad has two favorite Christmas movies. It's Home Alone and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. And I can't decide how much I like them and how much I just like watching my dad watch them because he spends the entire time laughing hysterically from the time it starts to the time it ends. So we laugh at him laughing.
It's so
So
cute.
I'm not sure how much I'm laughing at the film and how much I'm just laughing at him laughing. Actually, I brought these to show you.
Ooh.
So we call my dad Chevy Chase. That's his nickname from National Lampoons because he was obsessed with these like massive Christmas bulbs. Not the pretty little delicate ones. These things are huge. And he would get out every Christmas and put these all over the house, but not like in any particular like order, just kind of chucked like around the end would be really nice. But then he'd have like something kind of just hanging down over here, hanging down over there. And so my mom would always call it, oh, Chevy Chase has gone out to put the lights up again. Every year. And oh, Chevy Chase has got his lights out just everywhere, all over the house and everything. And so when they moved to the place where they live now, which has one of those god awful homeowners associations, which is just ridiculous. They're not allowed to have any colored bulbs. They can only have those little tiny white ones. So my dad had to get rid of all of
What?
his, yeah,
That's ridiculous.
yeah. So my dad had to get rid of all of his colored bulbs. So they gave me one in every color because I mean he's had these since I was, before pre-me, like as my parents say, BC, before Christina. These have always been around. So I now have I actually have all the colors of orange and white.
So you've
and
got
stuff.
orange, red, green, blue, and white, and there's kind of like
retro
overly-
light bulbs.
Yeah, they're the retro ones. These are
yeah.
these are old. Like these are the ones that we've always kind of had. Like they're old. Like you can.
It's funny that you bring that up, Christina. My mom, she mailed us a Christmas package super early, and it came yesterday. She was very paranoid about the deliveries not getting here. She sent me
should
this.
be. At this point, the post office
Made
jammed,
these.
sorry.
She came up with this pattern. Yeah, no, it is. I was working on it today, and I read an article. It's going to be hell, is what the tagline was. But my mom made these, and you're a cross stitcher as well. She cross stitched, so I can hang them up. The retro little light
Oh my
bulbs.
gosh.
That's so,
So-
cute. I could make
That's
those.
so cute.
I'm gonna do that. I'm
So
definitely
It's
gonna do that.
super cute. That's on
Yeah,
the
and she gave me
plastic
three
backing, right?
strings.
You
Yeah,
could do
she
that.
has.
You could
if
do that on
anybody's
Ada
a
though.
crafter, which
Hmm.
yeah,
could
you
do
could do
that
this
on
on
thick-
Ada. She has
You could do that on
plastic
Ada.
or whatever it's called, the paper
Mm.
a cross stitch thing, and then she just created this, like, I'm trying to describe it, like the retro light bulb, and she cross stitched them in all different colors, like white,
Yeah.
orange, green, purple, blue, yellow.
Have a
I'm
full light bulb
definitely-
string.
I'm definitely gonna do that.
Lovely.
Cause like what I've done is my mom got me this like old jar like container. So I have an ornament where I keep 3 of my dad's lights on my
Aw.
Christmas tree.
That's very special.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is super important to me, but I'm totally making that, Sarah. I have
Yeah,
so much Ada and I don't do anything. I have a million cross stitch patterns and so much Ada because I hoard it every time I go back to the US because it's so much cheaper there. I also
Yeah.
have like bags, and if there's a color of cross stitch thread that you need, I have it.
Yeah, I'm building up my stash as well, and I buy so much when I'm in the US because it's really expensive here, and yeah. So if
Yeah.
you're a crafter, talk to us.
Yes.
Good to know.
We probably have the thread you need.
How's your beers, ladies? Are we
Getting close
just
to
about-
finishing it.
Yeah.
I
just
am
about
drinking
time?
this slowly, so I'm gonna just stick with 1 because it's 11%.
Yeah.
How
fair
was
enough.
Done.
Bean? How was yours?
Well, I did share it with the technical department, but it's great. It's gone. It was good. Would recommend. Would have again.
Gone.
Because what I thought was that maybe we should have a beer break.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Seems like we should.
Okay, beer break time.
Hey, this is Joanne, and you're listening to the Beer Ladies Podcast.
And we are back from our beer break. We are suitably armed and ready to be refreshed, right, guys? That's what I'm thinking. So
Yeah.
before we get to our beers, I'm just going to remind you all at home, listening or watching, that we are available on every podcast network that you can think of, Spotify and Stitcher and Apple and all of the places, as well as on YouTube. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all at Beer Ladies Podcast, except for Twitter, which is Beer Ladies Pod. Yep.
We didn't have enough characters. It was,
Oh, right.
it was too long.
Is that why? Okay.
Yeah.
You always see it with podcasts, like only pod, so I never knew why that was. Okay. And we're also at beerladiespodcast@gmail.com and beerladiespodcast.com. So you can find us anywhere, and any suggestions, questions, topics that you'd like to hear about, research that you'd like us to do, anything you'd like us to cover, send it there. We'll consider it. Right. We're going around again for what are you drinking? I'm going to start with Christina.
I'm still drinking the 11% because I have to work in the morning and I don't want to die. So
I
I'm
think
just
that's
gonna,
fair.
just a reminder. I'm drinking the Heaney I Can See Stars 11% Russian Imperial Stout, which is a collaboration brew with Boundary Brewing, and it's very good. It's
Wonderful.
I'm not it's just that it's a beer that deserves to be sipped. So I'm
Yes.
going to sip and enjoy it.
Excellent. Yeah, good plan. Sarah, you're up next. What you
Oh,
got?
it is off the wall in a different country, guys. I'm having the Kirin Ichiban, the lager from
Lovely.
Japan. And it's
Lovely.
I've never had it before. I just really wanted to try it. It's only 5%. Let's see what it tastes like. Smells like a beer. Smells like a lager.
Wonderful. I like the fact that you got lagers tonight because it's between the Hellers and the lager now. I think that's great.
Yeah. No, it's nice. It's nice and light.
In any case, considering that the people listening and watching may not all be from Ireland, it's actually nice to feature beers that are not from here too. So yeah, good one. Bean, what you got?
Well, my better half is drinking the other half of my over a barrel brew 2 sides, so I'm out. So we're going old school salted caramel pastry stout from the old school dark Druid, not the coconut, not the orange, the white hag classic It's not quite the winter solstice, but on the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, the dark druid would cut the mistletoe that grew on the oak tree and give it as a blessing. And oh, it's mighty tasty.
So
It's so,
I'm glad
lovely.
you mentioned that one because I've got the new one. I've got the chocolate orange pastry stout. Oh God.
On theme.
On theme. So that's what I eventually decided was that I had 2 beers that coincidentally featured orange. So that was my theme. So I've got this also, White Hag. It's called the Dark Druid. It's this year's chocolate orange pastry stout. And I still don't really know what a pastry stout is, if I'm completely honest. I just know it's kind of a sweet stout.
There's sugar and vanilla.
Yeah.
And in your case, I guess, Terry's chocolate orange.
Yeah.
I see that can again, actually, Thandi.
Yeah.
Because I really
I'll hold
like
mine
the
up for contrast.
yeah, I really like the 70s orange brown
Yes.
vibes you have on that can right there. I'm really loving that.
Yeah, the kind of retro patterns. It's very cool. And I must say, there is something about those chocolate oranges, and I don't know why, and I don't know if I'm making it up, but they do actually make me think of Christmas.
They are so good though.
They do come out at Christmas time.
I like them.
You don't like
You
them?
I don't
Don't?
like
Like
them
them.
either. I thought
Nope.
it was just me and everybody
Nope.
loves them so much. And you
Nope.
get them in your stocking and maybe
Nope,
it's
my
orange,
husband
but I
likes
kind
them.
of prefer just an orange and also a beer.
Yes. Separately, chocolate and orange. Good. Together, no. For me.
That's
for
how-
me.
That's how I feel about chocolate and cherry, or I don't actually like chocolate with fruit generally, but for some reason the chocolate and orange works. I don't know why, but
Ooh.
I like chocolate and fruit.
Me
And
too.
sometimes I like chocolate and orange, but it's kind of rare. And yeah, I thought I was just the one weird kid that didn't like Terry's chocolate oranges so much, but
Yeah,
Actually,
it has
sure,
to like.
wow.
I like chocolate with banana. I like chocolate with strawberry. I like chocolate with cherry. I like chocolate with a lot of different fruits, but for some reason, the chocolate orange.
Do you like chocolate with pineapple?
I don't think I've had chocolate with pineapple.
Oh, you should try it.
I think chocolate and pineapple, those are two very distinct flavors. And for me, that even when they're together, I just taste chocolate and then I taste pineapple.
Interesting.
That's an excellent question, and I
Commingling of
look forward to
flavors.
finding out.
Yeah.
Well, what other like childhood Christmas traditions do you guys still do, or did you do? Like, what are your big childhood traditions?
I can add to this conversation. My mom is an exceptionally creative person, and when we were growing up, she used to make Christmas games for us. And every year it was, you didn't just get like a sack full of presents from Father Christmas. You kind of had to work for them. So she'd give us things like scavenger hunts or themed treasure things, or sometimes she'd make us a board game that we had to play, and then we'd win our presents along the way, or whatever the case was. And it was probably the thing that made Christmas the most special, and it's probably why Christmas morning is a little bit sacred, is because I've now started doing it with my own, even though I'm not nearly as good at it as my mum is. She's sort of far better at this thing, but even when we knew the truth about Santa or Father Christmas, the game still continued, because she just said, if you don't believe, you don't receive. So we literally had Christmas stockings and games to go with it up until 2 years ago. Really.
Nice.
And the only reason it stopped was because I was the last remaining child in the country, and then I left, so that was that. But we actually did one for my mom last year virtually. We did it over Skype. We sent her a Christmas game for a change, and we made her do tasks, and a lot of them involved drinking and various things. But it's just fun stuff, and like open up a small little gift with whether it's a pair of socks or it actually doesn't matter about the gift. It's much more about the activity and the fun.
That is so lovely, Thandi. That's
Well done.
so
It's
very
lovely.
Cool. Yeah, it's very cool. It's actually, besides sort of being in the pool and eating leftovers, that's Christmas in a nutshell for me. Yeah.
Yeah, we got stockings forever and ever and ever, and like far older than normal kid stocking. Yeah, the stockings just carried on.
Your mom sounds like mine.
I still get one. My mom, but it's not like in a stocking anymore. So like when I see my mom in the after times, after COVID, she'll have a stocking for me and a stocking for Paul, which is just like one of those like plastic bags now.
Yeah.
But it'll be filled with all that like stocking stuff, like which is like toothpaste and like a pack of tissues, and
It's like you went to the dentist.
yeah. That kind of stuff. But we, that's it. We still get them every year. And we'll probably get them, for forever. Like I just think it's a nice thing. What about you, Bean or Sarah? Like, what about your childhood traditions?
I've been trying to think, and one that sticks out for me is, so we would spend Christmas up in Minnesota because my mom's family's from there, and everybody would get together. You'd have like 15 people in the house, and you could not open Christmas gifts until after dinner was done, which as a child annoyed me to no end because
On
I
Christmas
knew
Day.
I
Wow.
knew my uncles and aunts and my parents were sitting there lengthening out the talk and the chat. And I was like, can we please open the gifts now, Uncle Mike? It would drive me up the wall. And then when they finally like slowly moseyed into the living room, it was always the youngest child would pass out the gifts, which was really fun. It was fun for me as the youngest for a while, and then my cousins came along, and it was nice. And I think that's a tradition we kind of still kept up for some reason. I don't know why. It made no sense. It was just something we did. But yeah, it was really agonizing to wait till after dinner.
Grown-ups take so long to talk. Why do they take so long to talk? What is there to talk about except for Christmas presents? No.
Now, God damn it, now. Die Hard quote for all of you people. Or was that Lethal Weapon?
Well, that's where it came from, and now you know.
Yeah, Sarah, don't hate me, but I also only watched Lethal Weapon for the first time 2 years ago. So
I don't hate you.
Yeah.
If anything, I envy you.
I don't
to
think
be
I
able to
really
watch that for the first time.
and
It's
I'm
an
still
experience to treasure.
I feel like I'm not even caught up. Like how many Die Hards and how many Lethal Weapons are there? Like I haven't watched them all yet.
Neither have I. Neither will I, probably.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
I haven't
Paul
used them.
Paul and I got tickets to go to the drive-through movies at the RDS. To go see Die Hard.
Nice.
Yeah. I think there's a new Lethal Weapon coming
cool.
out. So
yeah, I'm excited. Because it's like COVID friendly because you just sit in your car, and they have all different kinds of mulled wine and all kinds of stuff. And like obviously Paul can't drink, but I can. So I'm going to have some mulled wine, and they have wood-fired pizza, and they have all kinds of lovely things. So I'll have some mulled wine, and Paul will have his pizza because he loves pizza. So he's a happy camper. And then we'll get home, and then he can have a beer or whatever. But yeah, it'll just be nice to be able to drive in and watch a film.
It's amazing to me because drive-ins used to be so popular, and then they just died. And now because of COVID, like all of these little things that just come back, and obviously drive-in is probably one of them. And I don't know if it's a temporary solution or if it's going to come back permanently. I'd hope it's permanent. I used to love the drive-in.
I love the drive-in.
kind of I think the drive-in would be great just because I haven't been to the movies in years. I'd say probably 7 years, honestly, because I hate other people. And I'd like to just sit in my car and not be annoyed by other people.
Yeah, that's the good
And
thing.
make
You
my
don't have to
own
listen to anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you have a question or you want
love
to
to
talk,
drive-in.
you can talk to your partner. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't talk during films, but for those of you who do talk during films, now you
Sure,
can
in your car.
talk in your car and not answering your phone in the middle of a film, annoying the rest of us.
Yeah.
I'm all for drive-ins. Have you guys seen over the summer? It was comedians were doing drive-in comedy shows. I saw Jim Gaffigan did a drive-in
clever.
comedy show,
That's
and
cool.
he said it was the weirdest experience because all these people like he's performing for like this huge field of just people in their cars, and instead of applause, I guess they were clapping, but they were honking horns and flashing the lights,
Oh,
and that was
that's
just so
strange.
bizarre. And he's like,
That's cool, though.
you can't
You
hear them
can't
laugh.
it, yes.
Yeah.
So, but it was just like a
Yeah.
once in a lifetime kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's such a clever adaptation.
I love that.
That
Like,
would be totally trippy.
I
So
would-
weird.
I'd love to go to something like that just to experience it, you know,
Mm.
just to kind of see. How about you, Bean? Any childhood traditions?
I remember in my school, we used to do this caroling in the halls on the lead up to Christmas. So in the mornings before class, we were like kindergarten through grade 6. So, you know, like 5 years old to 10 years old, that kind of age. And the music teacher would wheel out the piano into the hall, and we'd all like sing just whatever, jingle bells, or there were little books, little Christmas carol books with all the words in them. And that was pretty cool because all the way up the hallway in my little elementary school were like kids all different years singing the same songs.
Aw,
It's pretty good.
that's lovely. No, that's really nice.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
How about you, Christina? Any specific sort of childhood traditions besides your dad and his lights?
Yeah, actually, I brought more things for show and tell. So I'm so sorry if you are listening to this and not seeing it, but I will describe it for you. So this is a music box. It's a German music box. It's like a scene in like a little house. It's wooden. It's got a Christmas tree and some Christmas toys, and there are people sort of there's like a little Advent thing, and there are like little wooden people in this house, and they're making things, and yeah, and so basically and it turns around
That's cute.
the
Oh,
middle
that
of
is
it.
cute.
And then I have another one, and this one, you crank it and it turns and it goes around.
Oh, that's so cute.
That's so cute.
Yeah, and so my parents have gotten me a so like I Lisa and I talked about this, but I'm adopted, so I don't have any like traditions, like cultural traditions, like related to like who I am and like what my ancestry is. So my parents thought it was really important for me to have some form of tradition. So every year since the first year they had me, they've got me a music box for Christmas. So
Oh, cool.
so I'm, it's 35 music boxes, or will be 35 music boxes, or more than 35, because sometimes my mom just gets me another one just for. So I have this massive collection of music boxes, and they're all different ones. Like she likes to get me these German ones. She really likes these, but all different kinds. Precious Moments. I have I was a ballet dancer for a while, so she got me I call it Ballerina Bear, but it was this bear that you cranked up, and it was a stuffed bear, a little ballet costume. I have, just so many different ones, massive collection. And yeah, that's Christmas to me, is sort of getting my music box. And if I didn't have any other gift, that would be the gift that it just means so much to my mother and to me. And yeah, that's
really cool. Would you try and pass that down?
Yeah, so I won't pass my music boxes to my child until I pass away, because they're very meaningful to me and my mother, but and that's between me and my mom. So between me and my child, I will start the tradition again, and buy them their own sets of music boxes, and then of course when I pass away, then I'll give them all of mine. To add to their already collection, because mine are so precious to me. So I would like to continue that with a child. They just mean so much to me. And my mom has written on the bottom, like, of all of them, like the year that she gave it to me.
That's awesome.
So, and like, I mean, some of these are old. Like I have German music boxes from when the Berlin Wall was still up. So like I have East German music boxes from like years and years and years ago. Yeah, some of them are very valuable.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, some of them are extremely valuable now. My mom does, some of these are quite nice music boxes.
Yeah.
But they're my most precious thing that I own.
Mm. Do you guys buy yourself like a Christmas present, or do you do something for yourself every Christmas that is, whether a new tradition or an old one?
I have started doing this lately, and I'm very bad at keeping up with it. I'm trying to make this a tradition for myself, which is knit myself a pair of socks, at least to work on over the holidays.
That's
Like,
cute.
and I'm not that fast at sock knitting. I know other knitters are really fast at it, but it took me 2 years to finish the last pair I started over Christmas because I'm that slow. But it was like a special Christmas skein of yarn. It was like red, green, and white. And it was really pretty. And but yeah, I don't know. I think I give myself a project to work on, and I'm like, this is my Christmas project because I
That's
associate
cool.
things I work on with memories, or I know when I look at something I've made what I was doing or what I was watching or how I was feeling at the time. So I try to have something positive to
Mm.
to work on or to give myself positive memories whenever I look at it. But that's something I don't really give myself anything. We don't really do gifts.
Mm.
We're just like, if we're the kind of people that if you want something or you need something, just get it. But I try to at least do that much for myself.
That's very cool. Bean, how about you? Is there anything that you do for yourself specifically over the time?
Probably. There's probably indulgences that I give unto myself, but I also give myself indulgences all year round. And yeah, for whatever reason, because we're pretty well loved for most of our lives, we don't really bother with presents too much. Yeah, we'll just kind of buy what we want mostly when we want it.
Mm.
And we'll just make the little things more special and just call them Christmas the same things. it's pretty, it's all pretty Scroogey. My mom's disappointed. It's like, you guys should do something special. We're like, no, we're happy.
Yeah, well, that's all it is. I try and buy myself a new ornament every year for the tree.
Yeah.
Because again, having moved, I really did select the ones that I brought over with me. So the collection is, while it can decorate a tree, it's not, it's not sort of my level of mania decorations. So I try and buy myself an ornament every year, and I could probably buy more, but I like the buying one ornament. And I've
Yeah.
gone sort of crystal ornaments or something like a little bit slightly higher end, not a plastic easily breakable thing. Well,
We do that
it's
too.
easily breakable, but yeah.
We
Yeah.
started doing that. We would buy an ornament that kind of signified that year for us. So I think one year we bought an air. I know. What is this year? A mask?
Yeah. What is this here?
A Poomoji on a string.
I know.
Zoom.
Like one year we bought an airplane because we did long distance for 3.5 years, and that one year was an airplane.
wow.
One year was a diamond ring to signify. I can't remember if that was the year that we got engaged or the year we got married. Yeah, just something that signifies that. And I try to buy something a little nicer, just because you don't go and buy 100 really expensive nice ornaments. I just want one nice one per year, and after a lifetime together, you've got a whole tree of memories, is what the way I look at it.
Yeah, exactly.
We do the same thing, except we buy an ornament every time we travel somewhere. So at any holiday we go on, we buy an ornament to remind us of the holiday. And it's exactly that. It's like, so when we look at the tree, it's like, oh my gosh, remember when we were in blank?
Yeah.
This year, remember when we were in the kitchen?
Well, you'll have to go to Carol's and go get an Irish Christmas ornament, just to remember that 2020 was the year of stay at home.
That's a good point. We should probably give them some business. They must be suffering with no tourists.
I think that they did quite well up until COVID, to be fair.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, I've lived here for over 2 years, but I still go into Carol's, which for everybody who's not in Ireland is kind of like the local gift curio store.
Tit tat.
very much
there's
Irish
one
stuff. Yeah.
For Irish things.
Yes, in air
There's
quotes.
so many of them. They all have the same exact stuff.
Range?
And
Yes.
yeah.
The
it's-
same exact Irish tourist.
Irish-ish
tokens.
things. Yes. That being said, I still love going in there.
Yeah,
Oh
in
yeah,
fairness,
I've bought stuff
I
for
buy stuff all the
family
time
and
there.
stuff
Mm.
there, definitely.
now's the time to shop. I bet they have some great sales.
Bet
Oh,
they
yeah.
do.
Stock up for every time
Yeah.
somebody comes over. Here you go.
Actually, I kind of like their jewelry, but that's neither here nor there. So I mean, my mom was always really good at this. Our house was decorated to the nines, like not on the outside. Decorating houses on the outside is not really a South African thing. Our house was always decorated on the inside, and not with like lights and stuff, but we always had like lots of interesting music boxes and Santa in a rocking chair, and something wooden and something musical and something a million different things, and you'd kind of have focus areas, and my mum was very good at leading from the front door into the sort of living areas and various places, and Christmas trees. And we at one stage I think we had 4 Christmas trees. We just it was very festive, and my sister had one in her room and I had one in my room, and whether they were small or large is but it was very much like that. Now the first year we were here, we were in a small apartment, like a really small apartment, and we just moved here. Like moving here is a financial thing on its own. So we kind of bought like 2 decorations and a tiny tree and a pot plant, just like a tiny tree.
So
And
cute.
yes, it was very cute, and we bought like 5 decorations for
tiny
that
fruit
tiny
tree.
tree.
Yeah, that's the cutest.
Hey,
I've seen
our-
that there
Very
for
sweet.
sure.
It was very
Our
sweet.
Christmas tree was found in the attic from a previous tenant, and it keeps shedding. Every
Mhm.
single year I pull it out and then put it back in, and it leans slightly to the right. I'm not gonna go buy a new one. It's fine
No,
until
it's
it
Charlie
falls
Brown's
apart.
tree.
I know it's just kind of it's a little bare, but I didn't have to pay
Got
for it.
personality.
Totally.
So that surprises me, because the way that I've always understood it, a complete stereotype, of course, was that everybody here and everybody in North America always has real Christmas trees as opposed to artificial ones. Now,
Ours was
Say
always
that
fake.
depends.
okay,
I think it depends, because if I would say we had cats,
Mm.
would have fake one, or when we did have a real one, I remember a handful of times as a child having a real one. They are actually a pain in the butt. You have to keep them watered, I think, because when they start to dry out, the needles start to fall. It's a really big pain to clean up, and then they're a fire hazard. So I'm all for fake trees, because you can buy it and it'll last your whole lifetime if you get a good one, I think.
We always had real trees when I was growing up. Like it was the whole thing was going. We'd go to cut down our own Christmas tree. We'd go to the Christmas tree farm. We'd get hot cocoa, like very much like National Lampoons. You trek out into the middle of the thing. You find the one you want. Dad would saw it down. You haul it back. They wrap it up. You stick it on the top of the car, and off you go. But it is a thing.
It's a
Mm.
thing.
But it was we had this. So my grandfather has these really old trains, like tiny model trains, like
Oh.
old
awesome.
old ones. And so from my grandfather, which gave to my mother, this entire village, Christmas under the tree village with the train set. So every year what we would do is it was this green big piece of wood, and you'd put the tree on top of that, the live tree, and you'd screw it in, and you'd have all the whatever. And then around that, we'd nail in the train tracks. And then we put up the whole village, and then with the train, and the train would run around. And it was one of these, like a Lionel train set. And you would put smoke capsules, these little like smoke, and it would smoke, and it would beep beep, and it would go around and around the track. So we had to have the live tree because it was like the thing, because you couldn't have the nice train, Christina, without the real tree. But now, since I'm an only child and I've grown up and moved away, my parents don't get the tray now. They don't do all that stuff. So they just have the fake tree. And we have a fake tree here because it's just easier. But if I had the train set, I think I'd get a real tree.
You know, you were talking about like the train set, or my mom did when we were younger. She did this a lot. But she didn't do it anymore because like it started to get too big and we ran out of space. And it was kind of a pain in the butt to pull it out every single year. But you know, those Christmas villages what people would put up with the little miniature houses. She would have a table and she would pull it out and she had fake snow and you'd create this little Christmas village with like the church and the schoolhouse and the library and the house, and like there would be little people doing whatever, having snowball fight and like little ceramic things. And then there was one I remember, it was magnetized. I don't remember how it worked, but they would ice skate. You would turn it on and they would move around and ice skate. And I always liked looking at that every single year. Like you turn off all the lights and all these little houses would be illuminated. And it was hard to like pull everything out and set it up and then put it back. But it was worth it because it was so cute. I love that. I do really like those little Christmas villages.
Yeah.
That's
That's what I remember is we turn on all the lights, keep the Christmas lights on, and then the train had a light at the front. So you'd have the train go around with the light and it would be blowing smoke and doing the little thing, and then the Christmas village and then the lights in the tree, and it was a thing. And we'd stare at that for hours. Do you know what I mean? Like just watching it. And like, I don't know. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh.
I know. I really want my own little Christmas village, but I have nowhere to put it.
I know. I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, do you hire for I might. Maybe I'll make one.
I've like we're going to put up the tree soon. Time of recording irrelevant. I'm going to put up the tree soon. Actually, it will be up by then. Damn it. Anyway, my challenge this year is to keep the tree up because we've got cats, and they're still young, and I don't know how we're going to do it. I'm thinking we need to put the tree up, and then the next day do ornaments, and we're going to have to layer them so that the cheaper plasticky variety are on the bottom. Although, knowing my cats, they'll probably launch at them from various heights.
Yeah, they'll get inside and go up.
Oh, yeah.
That was just always the way that we had to do it anyway with like kids and the odd dog. The cheap or the squishy ones on the bottom. The nice ones that my mom had allowed herself at the very top. Not so much of a Christmas village. The odd kind of derpy gingerbread house, somewhat glued together with royal icing. Smarties nibbled off of it,
Yum. Have you guys ever made a gingerbread house? Because I've never done it.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Times.
Yep.
Not from scratch. It was usually from a kit.
Yeah,
I think.
We always made ours with graham crackers.
Yeah, that's a good way.
Yeah, we always made
easier to.
Yeah, because my mom always just let us, like when I was a kid, my friends would come over and my mom would put out like little bowls of like all different candies, and then she'd make her own icing, and then we'd all get a stack of graham crackers, and then off we went. And they always looked like disasters, but they tasted great.
That's right. Yeah, because you get to pick your candy, and what can go wrong?
Now I want to make one. Maybe I'll get Paul to make one with me this year, but I don't know what I'd make them out of here. Maybe I'll actually have to make gingerbread.
It's okay. It's not. Well, look, there's gingerbread and there's gingerbread. There's like good molassesy, gingery.
I mean, you do get kits though. So,
but yes, you can also just get a kit. But
I could get a kit, and then I could kind of just do my own thing. Like I could get the kit for the house, and then I could kind of just decorate it my own way.
You can decorate it the way you want, because exactly, royal icing is just icing and water. Like hardens like a mofo. It's great.
Yeah, royal icing is easy to make. So.
Yeah, super easy, delicious. We used to always sit as kids with like biscuits. They're not quite graham crackers, but something like that, let's say, and also icing and all different sweets, Smarties and jelly tots and all
Yeah. Oh, those were the good ones. You wanted to get the jelly tots. We ended up with the Smarties, but it was really the jelly tots you wanted.
So yum.
Yeah.
And I mean that was kind of like summer
Yeah.
holidays, which is also Christmas in South Africa is summer holidays. So it's kind of all in one.
You guys, I'm doing that now. I'm getting icicles out of the icing.
There we go.
I bet there are some Irish people being like, oh, music is what Christmas is about, and
Yeah.
having people over and having a little bit of a
Bing Crosby. That's
dance around.
what I
and
think
some-
of when I think about Christmas music is Bing Crosby.
Really?
Yeah, White Christmas.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I think of Love Actually, and therefore I think of like Mariah Carey, which is
I
kind of
think-
sad.
I think
Think
of
of a
Grandma
kitchen
got run
party.
over by the reindeer.
Oh God.
Yeah, I think of all like the silly schoolyard songs actually that we.
Now that's in my head.
I like the classics. I like 40s, 50s, 60s. It just, just the
swinging
classics.
big band.
Yeah. That's what I think of. Like that's what we would put on Christmas Day in the background on the radio. So.
It's probably been slightly ruined or slightly made easier by like Spotify playlists, because you probably find a whole bunch of cool playlists easier. But yes, music is a thing actually. Although it is going to be a slightly different Christmas for some, it sounds like, at least within our group, it's not going to be all that different because of COVID. Now I guess for all of you listening at home, I hope it's not going to be complete shite, like the rest of the year. That's the only thing we can hope for. But yeah, in the meantime, we're going to wrap up here. Probably have our own chats after this. But guys, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all your podcast platforms, YouTube. Do the things. Share it with a friend. Give us a like. Give us a review. We're really enjoying making this podcast, and we hope that you're enjoying listening to it. So, yeah. Cheers, everybody. See you next week.
Bye.
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 Okay, good.
We can delete anything and
Okay.
everything.
Yeah.
But we can keep all the fucks in.
Oh yeah, I mean we are an explicit channel, so we can keep all of the fucks in.
This could be the
Motherfucker!
outtakes afterward.
God
God
damn
damn it. That's staying in.
And scene.